Welcome to Atlanta Tarot. This is the tarot forecast for Virgo for the month of June 2019. Welcome, Virgo. Hope you're fine. Let's see what messages are coming through for you in the wonderful month of June. The Knight of Cups. Interesting energy, emotional energy. So obviously, you know, some kind of offer coming through or proposal of some type. Knights always resemble message bringers or messengers. They can come through people. So if it's a younger man often is described by the Knight of Cups, and younger idealistic man. There he comes, he's coming in. Very emotional sort of card as well, so maybe he's coming in to teach you something about your emotions or enlighten you to something you don't know about how you are going emotionally. Quite an amazing card, really. But yeah, well, let's just see what he's up to this month, what messages he's bringing for you, Virgo. Where you are right now. Five of Wands. So there's a bit of action going on there, Virgo. Lots of spot fires to put out. You put one out and another one appears. But the basis of the Five of Wands is just about remaining quite sort of focused on where you're going and what you're doing. And then straight away we can look at the Knight of Cups and think, yeah, well, listen to his message. But mainly the main message is probably just to focus on what you're trying to get finished at the moment. You're sort of in the middle of something. You're halfway through it. And there might be millions of distractions coming into that's sort of preventing you from doing what you're meant to be doing, Virgo, which is very much an annoyance to you people, because you do like to be, you're very sort of forthright in what you're doing and where you're going, and you don't like to be bothered and sort of sidetracked, actually. Let's see what's brought this Five of Wands on anyway. The crossing card as well. So Ace of Coins, and that's that new project coming in. It could be some type of promotion or new job or thinking about a new beginning, but it's definitely, because this is in the crossing position, it's going to affect the rest of the reading, this Ace of Coins. So yeah, just really consider that and make that your focus if indeed this is where you're going, and it's an earth card like your own energy. So yeah, you'd be well suited to just focus on what you've got to complete this month, despite, you know, lots of business going on there. But then that Knight of Cups too might be coming in offering you something else that you might feel emotionally it might be worthwhile looking at, but is it really? It's about you focusing and doing what you do best, and that's just that slow moving energy to get to where you want to be. But definitely a new beginning, Virgo. The background of the situation, the Four of Swords. So indeed you have been sitting back just observing recently, seeing where you're going, having a good think about it, just taking a step back basically and seeing how things look from a distance. Sometimes we always need to take a step back, or perhaps you haven't been well or something. Four of Swords often can mean some kind of withdrawal, or a time where we just sort of turn off the mind a bit and just use other senses that we have, our eyes and ears, to sort of listen and watch rather than constantly being, you know, active and talking and all that kind of thing. Interesting card too. The recent influences. In comes the Queen of Wands. So she's very much a mover and a shaker, this woman, especially for types like Virgos, and they probably often think, oh, what does she want? She moves at quite a pace that Virgos often aren't quite comfortable with that fast-moving pace, or the fact that she really does sort of say what she thinks in a blunt manner from time to time, blunt and frank, which with some signs just doesn't go down well at all. But listen to what she has to say, because she is the mover and shaker, and she is the person, obviously, you know, that she's quite creative, but she likes movement, she likes things to happen. So she might be your boss or somebody like that coming in to say, no, come on, you know you can do it. But yeah, just take all this on board, Virgo, and you're going to do what you always do anyway. So, but just interesting. The lesson you'll be learning in June. There we go, swords for Gemini, air, taking your personal power back. So definitely that's the lesson, Virgo. So all the rest of it you can leave, but just make sure that you feel comfortable with whatever's happening, and your focus is your focus. There's some characters coming in too, so that's interesting. It's perhaps the test of the personal power issue, and we all have to go through that sort of initiation of learning to say no when we mean no, rather than yes to please. We don't want to be pleasers all the time. Sometimes you've just got to stand your ground, and that's a great card. So that's a great card to remember as the lesson. Take back your own power. Near future. 8 of Cups. So perhaps in the beginning of the second week of June, you're starting to feel like you need to move on from some kind of emotional situation, whether it be a relationship, usually is some kind of close relationship. Doesn't have to be particularly marriages and all that sort of thing, but close relationships sometimes too have to be put on hold, or you know, the pursuant of that needs to be put on hold just for a bit, so you can get done what you have to get done, Virgo. And you know what that's like, and you'll often put what you have to do first, and the rest of the stuff can wait till later. So definitely sort of that's coming in the beginning of the second week of June, the 8 of Cups. But just move on. It'll still be there when you come back, but just, yeah, watch that. And it's yet another, as we see with that 5 of Wands there, it's yet another sort of derailment. It's another sort of distraction, I suppose, that it won't be. Yeah, you just have to focus, basically, without tongue-tying myself. Okay, let's see what's happening that you're not realising, Virgo. And there's the Ace of Cups, so they're definitely in that position of what you don't realise is happening. Definitely there might be something really fabulous that could, emotionally, that could really lure you away from your focus. And most people would get lured away from their focus by this amazing new person, or reconnection with the person, or also just an emotional desire that you've had for a while, and you've been waiting for it to manifest. So it's all very interesting to see how you actually look at that, because that's down there. You haven't really thought of that, but nevertheless it's there. How others see you. Knight of Swords. Classic. This is the card for the Gemini people. And he comes in at quite a speed, screeches his brakes on, creates a great big kerfuffle, and then he's gone in a cloud of dust. But it's the kerfuffle, or whatever message that he leaves once he's sort of coming out of nowhere. He's expected the unexpected, really. So other people are definitely seeing you as that Gemini energy this month in June. So that's going to be really interesting to just see how you will be behaving in June. So yeah, expect the unexpected, because that's what people are seeing you as at the moment, Virgo, which is a nice sort of aside from your normal, usual sort of practical plodding, getting on with the job itself. and very focused individual. This really kind of, this is a bit out of the park really, but interesting nevertheless. Positive feelings about June. And then comes another one, King of Wands. So there's a lot of characters coming through, Virgo, for you in June. So there's that Five of Wands actually again at play. It's like, here comes, we've got the King of Wands, we've got the Queen of Wands. We've got all these characters. So he comes in as well. He's quite strong and you feel positive about him. So maybe he's sort of giving you some great creative advice. He's very much a go-getter. He gets out there, he troubleshoots. He's sort of leads the pack really, the King of Wands. So he and obviously you're feeling quite positive about him. So yeah, well, listen to everybody's point of view, and add value to what you're doing. But definitely he's good. Also can be a lot about travel, or sort of just that idea of sort of, you know, far off places, travel. He's a moving, I call him the travelling king. So he's very much like, he goes all over the place, all over the planet, all over the world, all over the country. He's very much that sort of person. And because of that, he has a lot of knowledge. The final outcome. Wow, Ace of Wands. So definitely a lot of fire in your month of June. So obviously use that Gemini sort of speedy Mercury type energy, very fast moving in the mind, combating with this Ace of Wands, which is just mountains of energy. Just, it's like a rocket blast of energy. As you can see, it does look a bit like a rocket about to launch. So very interesting. Ace of Wands can also talk about fertility for you girls out there that are sort of, you know, checking all those sort of facts and matters. And if you're interested in, you know, having a family soon, this is fertility coming in, which is really great. It's also just about lots of new beginnings. So you've got two aces, your cups and your wand. So very interesting, fast-paced month. I'm thinking, Virgo, unlike what you're normally used to, the plotting method. But just remember to keep your own counsel and keep your power. I'm just going to put a clarification card on that Eight of Cups and on that Knight of Swords, because that's quite interesting. Okay, underneath the surface of the Eight of Cups, which is in the position of the future influences, so near future, so the beginning of the second week of June, we have the Nine of Cups. So yeah, that's your wish card. So you will get there anyway, so just move on up to the wish card. It's lovely. Can be a very sort of party oriented card too, going out, having fun, enjoying yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, Virgo, every now and again. Let's see how other people see you. So under the surface of this messenger, the Gemini, Knight of Swords, let's see. We have the King of Swords. So there you are, sort of really going with that flow of the Gemini air energy. Very clarity is king this month for you with the King of Swords. So another fabulous card for you to have. So many characters, Virgo. So I believe this month is not going to be quiet for you. So buckle up. It's going to be very interesting, but more in terms of getting things done and focusing, but lots of things happening. But focus is imperative, as we saw with the Five of Wands. Final clarification card from the Buddha reading cards we have for you, Virgo. Forgiveness, Virgo. I love this card. So pretty. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. By practicing forgiveness, you can find new meaning to life's worst events. As love and compassion combine within the sacred space of the heart, they are released as a powerful energy and everything changes. All possibilities again become open to you. So there you go, forgiveness, Virgo, but also a very busy month. Correct me if I'm wrong next month, but yeah, have a wonderful month and thank you very much for listening.